There's progress on plans to shape how the state of Texas deals with artificial intelligence. We've told you about the new state law that created an AI advisory council. The council is just beginning to meet, and they'll create a report later this year for lawmakers to parse through.
And our DuPree looked into what their work will focus on and how the state is already using AI technology.
Logging on to the Texas WIC website, women with questions about the nutrition program may find answers by asking Maya the chatbot. More than a third of state agencies are now using artificial intelligence tools like this, according to a 2022 report. And now a new advisory council created by this law has a tall task.
It's like the Wild West on this right now. It's good to get organized early around this.
Rahul Srinivasan studies AI policy and championed the idea of this council. The 7 members will catalog how the state is deploying this technology and suggesting ways to better implement it in the future.
There's opportunities, but there's also risk. That's their task in terms of balancing those two and figuring out how to move forward.
While the group's work is only beginning, UT assistant professor and AI researcher Samantha Shorey hopes they'll look closely at the data generated by any tools used by the state.
Data is so valuable. People have even said data is the new oil. What we don't want to see is that resource being sold and potentially that having negative effects for the people that were just seeking out help from their government agencies.
DuPree joins us now. Will, thank you for that reporting. I love these stories because every time you get lawmakers talking about AI or high tech, it always leads to some interesting sound bites.
Absolutely. You never know who has the most expertise on this, but in this case, they do actually have a lot of intelligence behind their knowledge of AI.
Yeah, this council met again on Thursday. What were they talking about then?
What they wanted is to hear from some of the state agencies and how they're potentially using AI, what their plans are, and whether or not they're going to do it in the future. Basically, what they all said is that, yes, it will be implemented in some sort of fashion in the future. However, what they're wanting to say is that they're developing rules about this. It's a slow-going process, essentially, for many of these agencies. But one of the examples that we heard from is from the Texas Department of Transportation. They said that they are running this AI software program in the Austin area. That's just this pilot, and it's focusing on trying to improve response times to any wrecks or construction or maintenance kind of work. And they've actually cut down response times to about 5 to 10 minutes, which is a big improvement. So they pointed to that and saying, yes, that is something that is a benefit from AI. But again, these conversations will continue to be had, and all state agencies are going to have to turn in reports to this council by July 1st, detailing how they use AI, what their plans are, things of that nature.
Well, that's great news. Every time we have these conversations about AI, you hear there are good sides and bad sides, good and evil. Are we getting any sense about what lawmakers will or will not allow in this new technology?
I think it might be a little too early to say. However, some of the conversations that were had during this council meeting on Thursday provide a little bit more of insight into that. And what I mean by that is that they are talking about data security and privacy. Those are two big concerns that a lot of the lawmakers mentioned on this council, as well as the state agencies. What they also shared is that AI will not be making any kind of decisions for the agency or for the people who work there. However, it might inform them so that they can draw upon data to better answer some of the problems that the state is facing.
Well, the clock is ticking. The next legislative session starts in just about 9 months, and this is a huge topic to get our hands on. What do they need to do now? I mean, what is the to-do list ahead?
So the law requires this council to have several different milestones, essentially, to follow up on before everything wraps up at the end of this year. So again, those state agencies are all having to fill out these inventory forms about AI that are due on July 1st. The council will then take those and then incorporate that into a report that they're going to put out by December 1st. That may be very important, especially ahead of the next legislative session, because some of that report may include policy proposals that the lawmakers will want to take up and address AI. The council could also put forward a statewide code of ethics about AI, which would be pretty novel for the state. They don't have something like that. Some of the individual agencies do, but this would be a statewide proposal for that. So that's something we'll have to definitely look for. And this report may actually be a guidebook for what proposals come into the session next year, because we'll be tracking so many bills will be introduced, but this at least might be the first chance to see how the state will potentially legislate AI use.
It's fascinating stuff. Will DuPree, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
New developments in the push for accountability for the deadly withdrawal from Afghanistan. Why one Texas congressman says the blame goes beyond the White House.